to the virtual Sunday service for the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Lake Norman. Our fellowship walks diverse paths to find meaning and purpose, but we are united by our belief in the inherent worth and dignity of all, in the obligation to express our faith through acts of justice and compassion. My name is Harvey Wichter. I've been a member for a little over 2 years. This month, I'm grateful for my family, our congregation and our virtual meetings, Netflix and Prime Video, and receiving my second COVID shot. Every month, we light the chalice. Every week, we light the chalice to symbolize the light we'd like to bring to the earth and the light within us, within ourselves. I'm going to read from Marjorie Montgomery. Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the glories and the mysteries of this great gift. I'm really pleased to welcome our virtual speaker, Laurie Walker. Laurie's a charter member of the congregation, is a frequent and delightful speaker, and she's now our yoga coach. She's going to talk about joy and pain, sunshine and rain. I'm going to turn it over to Laurie now, and after she finishes, she'll be followed by a musical interlude by our own Mike Alec. I'll see you back soon.
Good morning. This morning I'm going to talk about joy and pain, sunshine and rain. That happens to be the title of one of my favorite soul songs. Joy and pain are like sunshine and rain. Over and over you can be sure there will be sorrow, but you will endure. Where there's a flower, there's sun in the rain. Oh, but it's wonderful. They're both one and the same. Joy and pain are like sunshine and rain. The blues have a beautiful method of working contradiction and dissonance into a statement of pain. The sonic space of the blues is a world where we could cry through our smiles. When we sing the blues, we can feel loss and hope at the same time. The joy in the blues doesn't obliterate our sadness. It does something magical. It reveals its capacity to hold joy alongside sorrow, and even, sometimes most especially, in the midst of suffering. Over the past year, I've given a great deal of thought about the sustaining quality of joy and its presence even when it's metaphorically raining like hell. Right now, we are still living in the middle of the story. We're still waving at each other through windows, meeting on screens, dancing in our driveways, and some of us still choking on the chasm between ourselves and the ones we love. This lived experience is too big, too fresh for the final line, but I do know that joy will be threaded throughout the telling. Not only at the end, but in the heightened moments of connection during the storm. There's a poem about the link between joy and pain from Khalil Gibran entitled On Joy and Sorrow, and I'd like to read it to you. Then a woman said, "Speak to us of joy and sorrow. And he answered, your joy is your sorrow unmasked. And the self-same well from which your laughter rises was oftentimes filled with your tears. And how else can it be? The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. Is it not the cup that holds your wine, the very cup that was burned in the potter's oven? And is it not the lute that soothes your spirit, the very wood that was hollowed with knives? When you are joyous, look deep into your heart, and you will find it is only that which has given you sorrow that is giving you joy. When you are sorrowful, look again in your heart, and you shall see that in truth you are weeping for that which has been your delight. Some of you say, joy is greater than sorrow, and others say, nay, sorrow is the greater. But I say unto you, they are inseparable. Together they come, and when one sits alone with you at your board, remember that the other is asleep on your bed. Verily, you are suspended like the scales between your sorrow and joy. And only when you are empty are you at standstill and balanced. When the treasure keeper lifts you to weigh his gold and silver, needs must your joy or sorrow rise or fall. Throughout the pandemic, I have taught a weekly meditation class for people in an age group that have been highly isolated. In our post-meditation discussions, the idea of joy keeps returning. What is clear is that many have been separated from what they would consider their greatest joy, their families. One woman decided that she would lift herself up and wrote down the word joy on Post-it notes and put them all over her apartment. She likes to point these out to me when we meet during our weekly sessions. Usually she will include a Bible verse because to her, joy comes from Scripture or God. Once she shared from Psalm 30:11, you turned my wailing into dancing. You removed my sackcloth and clothed me with joy. To her, joy is synonymous with following Jesus. She says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. Galatians 5:22 through 23. The word joy is used in the Bible more than 200 times. What about those of us who do not follow a Christian life? How do we describe joy? We could probably best agree upon a description for its antonym, pain. We know when we feel pain from the loss of a loved one, a feeling of not belonging, or witnessing a horrible injustice. Often our emotions are described in a way that's embodied. There is often a physical sensation that encompasses pain, a feeling in the gut that manifests itself into a stomach ache, loss of appetite, a clenching or a closing. Sometimes we say our heart is broken. These feelings are universal and usually easier to describe and agree upon. So if we can agree that pain is an embodied feeling, joy, its opposite, is also embodied. It's an absence of pain, a lightness, a spaciousness, a wholeness. And dare I say, in joy, there's a sense of being filled with spirit. Like the opposites, joy and pain, the words joy and happiness are often paired together. Some use them synonymously to describe emotions where the person has feelings of contentment or satisfaction. Yet, they too are different: happiness and joy. The author J.D. Salinger, Catcher in the Rye, once wrote, "The fact is always obvious, much too late. But the most singular difference between happiness and joy is that happiness is a solid and joy is a liquid. Joy lasts. It sustains. It is a peace that does not leave us even when things get hard. Happiness cannot be sustained. It is a momentary feeling and it depends on external factors. Joy is not even extreme happiness. In its truest expression, joy transforms difficult times. Joy brings meaning to life. It brings life to life." This weekend, the author Amanda Williams Gorel will release a book called The Gravity of Joy, and I'm looking forward to reading it. Gorel is a scholar who has investigated the role of joy in day-to-day life. Less than a year after she joined the Theology of Joy and the Good Life Project at the Yale Center for Faith and Culture, Angela Gorel got word that a close family member had died by suicide. Less than 1 month later, she lost her father to fatal opioid addiction, and her nephew, only 22 years old, to sudden cardiac arrest. The theoretical joy she was researching at Yale University suddenly felt shallow and distant. She found herself speaking at funerals while she was teaching about joy. In describing her book about joy, Gorel emphasizes, "This is more than academic work for me." She identifies 3 types of joy that can be expressed in today's troubled times. One she calls retrospective joy. It comes from vividly recalling a previous experience of unspeakable joy. I use this type of joy often in mindfulness practices, by settling my mind on an occasion, maybe when I helped someone else, or someone unexpectedly helped me, or a time when I felt deeply loved. The second joy she describes is called restorative joy. This follows when things that are broken become whole. This kind of joy can be found in repairing a relationship by apologizing to someone we've hurt, or maybe pursuing a dream we feel called to. The third type of joy is she calls futuristic joy. And this comes from a knowing that we will again glimpse meaning, beauty, or goodness, and seemingly against all odds, that they are connected to our very life. When many of us marched together in Raleigh and sang "We Shall Overcome" together, we felt that futuristic joy. When we gather and sing hymns about justice, we find joy when we meet together, when we gather on Sunday morning. So I would like to end this with asking you to recreate some futuristic joy and sing with me to create a sonic space of joy in cyberspace. Let's press our voices together separately and sing a few lines of joy and pain. And I'll start us off. I'll sing 1 line and then we'll sing 3 times together. Joy and pain are like sunshine and rain. Come on, everybody. Joy and pain are like sunshine and rain. Oh, joy and pain are like sunshine and rain. Oh, joy and pain are like sunshine and rain. Joy and pain are like sunshine and rain. I hope you sang with me. In the midst of a year in which it is not difficult to stumble onto suffering, the good news is that we can also stumble onto joy. There is no imprisoned mind, heartbreaking time, or deafening silence that joy cannot break through. Joy can always find you. Joy brings meaning to life. It brings life to life. Be well, my friends, and go in peace.
Greetings, everyone. This is a song I wrote out of sheer joy called Nothing Can Hold You Down. Far away from the world, you know, hidden deep like a treasure trove. They play it hard and they pass it around. When you cut loose, you know, nothing can hold you down now. No one knows that old fiddler's name, but it's alright, you know, hey, you're not to blame. But you'll remember when you hear that sound. When he cuts loose, you know, nothing can hold you down. Nothing can hold you down. When you cut loose, your feet gon' leave the ground, you know. You pick it up, you pass it around. Nothing can hold you down now. Late at night, where the whole world's asleep, the moon will howl and the weeping willows weep. Hold on tight as we circle around. Ah, what's the use? Nothing can hold you down. Let it roll, leave the worries behind you. Out here where no one can find you, far from the world, you know, it's far from the world. Well, you round them hills where the cool water flows, that steep pass nobody knows. 40 miles from the nearest bustling town. Oh, head on up, 'cause nothing can hold you down. Nothing can hold you down. When you go loose, your feet gon' leave the ground, you know. You pick it up, you pass it around. Nothing can hold you down. Then you roll, leave the worries behind you. Out here where no one can find you, far from the world, you know, it's far from the world. Ahoo, 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 ahoo. Ain't nothing can hold you down. Take it easy, everybody.
Thank you, Laurie, for your guidance, expertise, and wisdom this morning. Also, thank you, Mike, for the music. As I said today, we're grateful for your words and also for having you as part of our wonderful congregation. Now, if you're a visitor, welcome. I'm so pleased you chose to give our virtual service a try. If you like what you've heard so far and are wondering how to stay connected or get involved with our congregation, please reach out to our membership chair, Linda. Her address is right there, and we'll get you on our mailing list. If you had our mailing list, you would have known about a film you could view called Wilmington on Fire, our children's and our teens' spiritual education programs, our mission for chain-free dogs, and a virtual yoga session with Laurie Walker. We encourage our members continue reaching out to each other whenever possible. We also encourage you to go to our cocktail parties and our talkbacks after the service. There's one at 11 o'clock. And if you go to it on our website, you'll be able to see how to connect to it. So for now, let's all go forth and conquer the day. Namaste, shalom, blessed be. Go out and find things to be grateful for. And we'll see you again at the talkback or next week.